The election variant is back along with treason and tyranny. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, September the 3rd. And well, this year is flying by. It is Labor Day weekend. Hope you're having a great weekend enjoying football is back. It's been very exciting and got some great games. We got even got a couple of picks for you later. In the meantime, we are seeing a lot of talk about COVID once again and the bullshit. And if you go back and look at Dr. Bob Martin, who spoke before the UK and talked about how these were manufactured variants, which we have said here and believed all along. This is just another way to prepare themselves to try to steal another election. Again, both parties are shit. I don't really care. I can only tell you that right now the government is as Nikki Haley called it, the most privileged nursing home in the country. We do have to have term limits. We do need to get things to turn around because obviously American citizens are getting screwed. And it's about time we stopped getting screwed. It's about time we kept letting them create these acts of tyranny and treason against us. But some of the consumers don't care. They're spending like drunken sailors. And let them spend, and the bill will eventually come due. And remember that credit card debt is not dischargeable by bankruptcy. Okay? The credit card lobbyists are so powerful that they got that eliminated. Okay? The Federal Reserve warns financial stability and vulnerability due to leveraged Treasury short positions. Gee, that's shocking. That could never happen again, could it? Where we have actually this whole situation that's going to repeat what happened in 2008. We had banks that are dramatically over leveraged, and you've heard it here almost every week for a couple of years that the banks are over leveraged and that they would not pass a legitimate stress test if one was done. Okay, now we don't get legitimate stress tests. We get that bullshit from the Federal Reserve that tells you everything is fine. And of course, if my business and someone would bail me out every time I lose, I'd be fine too. But that's not the way life is. Okay, the Center for Disease Control abused its authority, engaged in censorship campaign of COVID-19 vaccine posts. Well, how long have we seen the posting and the things that go on in this country? Okay, that we're not privy to because they're destroying our First Amendment rights. They're trying to destroy our Second Amendment rights. They're trying to take away your freedom. If you can't see what's going on, they're trying to steal your freedom and lock you basically in a cage, okay, and make everybody the same. Is that what you want? Are you ready to give up the opportunity that this country brings you? Okay, and of course, if it's up to the guys in charge now, that's exactly what they want. They want to destroy and take away your freedom. Okay, and they're using chemical warfare as a way to do it. And originally, I thought it was only China sending it over. Well, I got news for you. I think there might be some bigger players, even from here, that are involved in this whole thing because certainly, as you know, somebody always benefits from something. Okay, wars, defensive contractors, and builders benefit. Okay, diseases shutting down economies, except for certain parts of it, others benefit from that. So again, not to be a conspiracy theorist, but think about it. Okay, that's all. Just think about it. Okay, gasoline prices. Oh, gee, shocking that they're at decade highs going into Labor Day weekend, another big driving weekend. Shocking that OPEC is going to cut production once again, as we have said for about the last 3 or 4 weeks. And we said almost all year that they're going to continue to cut production until they get prices higher. Well, this is the third production cut we have now seen by OPEC, and more to come because that oil is going back over $100 a barrel. Okay, just in time for the winter. Okay, just in time for heating season too. Okay, it's nice to see that the Nebraska governor took a stand on this ridiculous gender stuff that's happening. Again, what you want to do at your home by yourself, go for it. Have a good time. But don't affect my children. Don't affect my life with what you want to do. Okay, I don't care what you do. Okay, I'm a big believer. What you do in your privacy of your own home, go for it. But when you start to affect my family or my kids, and you want to teach my kids Okay, things that I don't want them to learn yet, that they're not old enough to learn yet, that they need to go through the natural progression. Okay, I don't want shit rammed down their throat. Okay, so again, I think that we have to continue to watch it, and of course, obviously, is the big story is every week the continued beat down on President Trump. And look, again, whether you like him or not, okay, I think he tried to do a good job for the country, and certainly the treatment that he is getting is unwarranted. Okay, because it's a fact that President Biden is a hell of a lot dirtier than President Trump ever was. Okay, and the real question here, and I think there might be some investigation in this, is when did Obama know how dirty Biden was, and what did he do about it? Okay, we already know that President Obama sent back civil rights 100 years. Okay, so what did he know, and what did he do about it? I think those are questions that need to be asked as well. Okay, because in a country where you're starting to see some pushback, like in Chicago, they're getting tired of the homeless being rammed down their throat. And you take a look at what's going on in California and in San Francisco, the new camping grounds for homeless. Okay, I think you're seeing some pretty dramatic problems. Okay, and I'm really tired of hearing about the BRICS. Okay, the new currency. It's something that's very simple, and it's very simple to understand and see. If the new currency were something to be concerned about today, and I'm not saying it's not good or it's not going to be something to be concerned about later, but this more fits into China's long-term plan. But if they're going to stop using dollars, then why has the dollar continued to rally and making newer highs once again? And if they're going to, use gold as a backing, why are the prices of gold not rallying? Okay. So again, the markets will tell you what fair value is at that given time. Okay. Now again, I'm not saying it won't happen later. Okay. And again, we're still fighting over the same ridiculous stuff for the Second Amendment that, I think you all seem to forget. Those of you who want to strip legalized guns away from people, I think you forget one thing. Criminals will get guns. There will be guns for sale, like illegal drugs, like illegal gambling, like everything else that's illegal. It's available for a price. And if you want to take away the individual rights, okay, of citizens, and you want to strip them of their Second Amendment right, I think you're making a big mistake, and you're playing right into the hands of government and what they're trying to do. Because as Ronald Reagan said, the 8 scariest worlds in the world are, I'm here from the government and I'm here to help. Keep that in mind when you continue to give away all your freedom, because treason, tyranny are a real item that is going on right now. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horowitz. It is Sunday, September the 3rd. Let's step out here for a break, and we'll come back with our market report right after the break. What's up, kids? I hope you're enjoying your Labor Day weekend, and of course, lots of football if you're a fan. And anyways, in the meantime, I do have a couple of sponsors that we always like to share with you, and one is going to be, of course, Capital Trading Group, which is our commodities and futures broker, and as well as a partner in a couple of our products. And of course, they do a great job. They got great customer service, and check them out, info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. And it's also scrolling on the side because I speak too fast. And also there is Trade Your Brokerage, which is a great equities partner. $10 a month. They operate our software at no charge. They can do auto trading for you if you want. It's up to you. It's your choice, no cost. Check them out, try.trader.com/Bubba. Again, scrolling on the sides. And of course, our high school program, which is on the bottom. We just picked up a new partner to help rebuild this whole program. So hopefully you'll want to help us, and we can get this thing off to the races and get it into all the schools so we can actually teach them financial literacy. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and, of course, our market report with me, Todd Bubba Horowitz. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, September the 3rd, and, of course, we have our market update. And, as we look at the markets, again, it's interesting. The action was exactly as we thought it might be. I mean, I'm not going to say I thought it was going to go higher like it did early in the week, but it was pretty much like we thought. We had another jobs number come out, which was all bullshit. Okay. And this is one thing nobody ever paid attention to. On Friday, they came out with 187,000 jobs. but what you didn't read in the fine print below was the revisions from the jobs from last month, okay, which for the year were down 514,000 jobs. Okay. In the meantime, markets were really waffling all day on Friday, and not a surprise, it was quiet. There was no volume. Okay. It's as we thought it would be. The real markets are going to start trading not necessarily on Tuesday, not necessarily on Wednesday, but in the next few weeks, we should start to see a real direction of where the markets are going to go now. There should be volume back in play. There should be more things to think about other than just thin, lightly traded retail trading markets. In the meantime, last week, the Dow, the four indices were higher. We're long the S&P and the NASDAQ. We're short the Dow and the Russell. And again, I'd like to be short at all, but the trends are the trends. I'm not going to fight those trends. So, and as we look across the board, the dollar, which we no longer trade, but we would be long it right now, was higher once again. The euro currency, which we are short, was lower once again. If you saw it late in the week, it got smoked and hammered, okay, along with bonds and notes, okay, which we are still short. Again, I think you got to remember, okay, as we warn you all the time, that the movement, there's always going to be some mean reversion or some retracement back to a spot. But overall, the trend is a trend, and the bonds and those interest rates are going higher, and that's just the bottom line. Gold for the week was pretty much flat along with silver, and we're now long both gold and silver. Platinum, which we would be long, but we no longer trade because it's just not liquid enough. It did reach up at resistance at about 1,000 and pulling back a little bit. Copper, it was higher, and we are long. In the grain markets, it's terrible. We are long soybeans, but corn was below $5, down to $4.50 almost. Soybeans continue to try to rally, but did pull back from a $14.20. And wheat looks like it's going to zero. I guess we're not going to have bread anymore. I guess it's going to be let them eat cake, and we'll get Marie Antoinette back involved. Okay. In the meantime, the meats were pretty much flat towards the top end of the range, and certainly not a surprise. Okay. Again, there's a shortage of beef, which allows it to stay higher in price. But overall, I think you got to remember that, again, high prices will cure hard prices, and hogs are kind of mid-range, but they look a little bit weak. Again, I would be a seller here, although we would be long all three if we still traded them. Natural gas, we are short, and it was up for a little bit for the week. Crude continues to fly. We're still along that as well. In the softs, cocoa is lower. We were short. Cotton is higher. We're long. Sugar was higher. We're long. OJ was higher. We're long. And coffee was lower, and we're short. So again, we're kind of okay. It wasn't a great week. I mean, I'm never going to tell you not the truth. The truth is it wasn't a great week. But again, it's about the big weeks to come and the way that we trade it and the way that we understand it. I know that we try to put ourselves in position, and we got some new additions to come out so we can destroy some of the variants as well. So we're in pretty good shape. I'm pretty excited. In the meantime, we'll see what happens. Again, I don't expect Tuesday to be the big move right back into business. People will be coming back. So if we're going to see some action, so it'll probably be later in the week. But I really don't expect much until probably mid-September. We'll see what happens. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. We'll step out for our final break and come back with our commentary and our football selections right after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line. Well, kids, again, as we talk about our sponsors, and I'm not going to go through the whole spiel of our sponsors and who they are. Again, Trader Brokerage and Capital Trading Group. But what I do want to tell you is very simple. Okay? No matter who you're trading with, no matter who you trade through, if you're trading futures, get a futures broker. If you're trading options or equities, get an equities broker. You need to have two separate brokers. They are not a good blend because be with the one that does what you want to do best. Okay? Because trying to multitask in the brokerage business is never good for the customer. Never good for you. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, top of board. We're going to step out. We actually get back to my market commentary right now. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horowitz. And of course, every week I give you a little bit of my commentary. And, I opened up and talked about treason and tyranny, which I think is exactly what's happening in this country. I talked about what Nikki Haley said, calling the Senate and the government the largest seniors housing, the most deluxe seniors housing. And think about that. Don't you think that it is time for term limits? Don't you think it is time for some young blood in government? And you may not like Vivek Ramaswamy, Okay, and I'm not saying to vote for him. He might not even get the nomination. But I would urge you to read some of the things he writes and some of the things he says, because certainly he has a unique understanding of the Constitution, unlike most of your politicians. And he does understand what we're trying to do. And I do think that if we're going to save this country, okay, and it's getting very close. I mean, you can ignore it all you want, and I know that I'll get a lot of hate mail, as I always do, because you guys always want to tell me that America's the greatest country. I don't disagree that America's the greatest. But what I do disagree with is that we are not going farther ahead than we should be. And we should be much better than everybody else and not giving everything of ours to everybody else, okay? I think at some point you have to be more selfish and take care of your own people first. And if you gauge by what's going on with the number of homeless in this country, okay, and the lack of jobs in this country, and the new separation between those who got and those who don't got, I think we're becoming very much like a third world country. And I don't want to get there. I want to continue to progress. I don't want to go backwards. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Top Bubba Horowitz, and of course, football. Tonight, we like Florida State over LSU, although LSU's awfully good. But we do like Florida State tonight, and tomorrow night, we like the Clemson Tiger over the Duke Blue Devils. In the meantime, have a great weekend, have a great Labor Day. As always, I thank you for your time, and we'll see you back here on Tuesday with Bubba's Day Update, and of course, next Sunday with Bubba's Bottom Line.